Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So last night, Sister Wives aired and we finally got to see the breakdown of what went on between Christine and Kody's marriage. We get to see her kind of explain her side of things. Also, she dropped a few bombs that I wasn't aware of, and I've been following the show for some time. But one thing that she discussed is that she's basically had made this decision to leave Kody back around their anniversary. So their last anniversary, it was aired on the show. We got to see them. They spent that day together. They went to a place where they got to watch the sunset, and it seemed like they had a good time. That's what I took away from that episode. I remember watching the episode. But she tells us in this episode that that's when she made the decision that she would not have another anniversary with Kody if things didn't change. She said once they got back to the house, they just kind of went to bed and there was no intimacy. And she decided that she would not have another anniversary with Kody if there was no intimacy. So she drops that bombshell on us. And then Kody also drops a bomb himself, basically telling us that he has felt betrayed by Christine. And the reason he has felt betrayed by her is because apparently she had told some of the other wives and the adult children that she no longer wanted to stay married to Kody. And that's not a big shock to us, because last season was when we got to see that scene where they were out at the property and she was talking to them about moving to Utah, and everybody was like, nah, not for us, we're not going to do it. And she, took a moment by herself, but Mary came with her and she told Mary, I can't do marriage to Kody anymore. So I don't know if it's that he's talking about, that she told Mary, or if she's told multiple people and multiple adult children and it's gotten back to him. But he basically says that he has felt betrayed by Christine. So those are a few bombshells that was dropped throughout the episode, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a recap. I'm going to tell you guys everything that went down and then give you guys my thoughts, and I want you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, there will be a reunion / tell-all type of situation that's going to happen. I think it's next week. Where they're going to bring everybody in one by one, and their host is going to ask them some questions. And it seems like the host gets Kody kind of riled up with her line of questioning, basically telling him that she feels like he kind of abandoned some of his wives. Kody does not like that. So next week's going to be interesting as well. So let's go ahead and let's get into the episode, because like I said, this was an interesting one. So it starts out a couple weeks after Christmas. They're like mid-January, I think Kody said. Off the heels of Christmas, and they have Ari's birthday coming up, and she is insistent that everybody comes. And at this point they have the rapid testing where you could just go through the drive-through and you can do the swab in your nose, or you can do the one where you spit and they can test you. So everybody has agreed to get tested so they can be there for her birthday. Christine, she took her girls, they all got tested. That was filmed. We got to see them at the drive-through getting tested. And it seemed like everybody was happy to do it. Like everybody was happy to go get tested so they could be there for Ari's birthday. At the party, everyone comes together. They have a great time. In a confessional, though, Kody says that he's still kind of upset how everyone acted with the rules and leading up to Christmas, that he did not really enjoy his holiday season, and he's still kind of struggling at the birthday party. He's still kind of struggling because of everything that took place. He still has a little bit of an aggravation at how things played out leading up to this point. But he says that he really just wants to focus on Ari and her birthday party. They do this cute little thing where they go around the room and they say something about the birthday person to make them feel special. And that was really cute. Kody, he said something, about her being sweet. And then Gabriel, he said basically like, you're the only female that opens the door and tells me how handsome I am. So you sure know how to make a guy feel good. So it was a really good time. In a confessional, Kody said that he really enjoyed, this experience with Ari, and having the experience with Ari, it makes him realize once again that his job is to protect her. His job is to protect the younger kids, his minor kids. And he says that his older kids have to start realizing that his world no longer revolves around them. That he, Kody, is now obligated to protect his minor children. And then he says he is also obligated to those children, the adult children, that decide to keep his rules and go to school, that he is obligated to them as well. That as long as they are keeping his rules and they are going to school, he will help them out any way that he can. But he is not obligated for any of the other adult children who are not abiding by his rules. So I thought that was interesting. You guys, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you guys think about that? Hearing Kody say that he is obligated to his minor children and his adult children that abide by his rules. But the adult children that do not abide by his rules, he is not obligated to them. And those kids need to understand that he's not obligated to take care of them anymore. Leave me your thoughts about that. Now, Janelle, in a confessional, she said, we've never kicked our kids out at 18 years old. That before, Kody was always happy to have them stay, happy to have them come back until the COVID situation happened and all these protocols were put into place. Now it's, if you don't follow the protocols, leave, you must leave, I need you to leave. And Janelle is just saying, we've never been that type of family. So it's weird and it's different. And she's not okay with it. Like, she's not okay with kicking her kids out at 18 just because they're not following Kody's rules. She then points out that there are adult children living in Robin's house, but of course those kids follow the rules, so Kody doesn't have a problem at all with them living there. In a confessional, Kody says that he feels like the kids that abide by the rules, or that don't abide by the rules, it's kind of off their mom. Like, they're going off the vibe that they get from their mom or listening to their mom. So he says he knows Robin has like set her kids down and that she's been like, you're going to abide by the rules. This is what we're going to do. So her kids do that. Essentially, he feels like Janelle and Christine, maybe that's not what they say, you know, that they're not telling their kids, we will abide by Dad's rules, maybe giving them the option. What do you guys want to do? What do you guys think? If you guys want to do it, we'll do it. If you don't, we don't have to. So Kody says that he feels like the children that have made the decision to abide by his rules, it's because their mom has kind of enforced it. And the ones that don't abide by his rules, it's because the mom has given them the choice not to. Now, after the party, like I said, everything went smooth at the party. And then we see Janelle and Christine in confessionals where they both say that they enjoyed spending time with the family and that they're happy that they got to do it. And now with the testing, they're hoping that the family can get together like at least once a month or something. Janelle says that they have Kody's birthday coming up like in a week, and she is hoping that they can all get together again. That this is kind of like moving the family forward, that they are finally on the path of getting back to normal, because now even if they don't, I guess, abide by the rules, they can still get tested and make sure they don't have COVID, and then they can have get-togethers. So that's what they want. Christine says it was really good to see Ari. It was really good for her children to see their siblings. So she was happy with how everything happened. She enjoyed being there. So her and Christine are both hopeful that this will be like a path to go forward for them to continue seeing the family. Now, 3 days after Ari's birthday party, Robin sits down to tell us, essentially, that her nanny has gotten COVID. That actually the day after Ari's birthday party, the nanny called her and said that her husband tested positive for COVID. And then 2 days after that, the nanny tested positive for COVID. So now, of course, she is scared that her family has gotten COVID as well, but not even just Robin's family in general, but maybe even the whole family. Because Robin said that they had Ari's birthday party, I think she said on a Sunday, and the nanny had been in their home that Thursday. That Saturday, the nanny's husband tested positive. So there was just like a 2-day gap between when they saw the nanny last to when the nanny's husband got COVID. And then like a 4-day gap between the last time they saw the nanny and she tested positive for COVID. So now she's scared that they potentially have COVID. And Robin says that, you know, if it would have just been a small party with just her kids and not the whole family, that she wouldn't be as worried, because the only one they would have to be really concerned about is Kody getting COVID, because then he wouldn't be able to go see his other wives. But she says, you know, considering that they invited everyone over, now she is concerned that everyone has been exposed to COVID. And she says, you know, maybe Kody was right. Maybe Kody was justified in these strict protocols. Maybe we shouldn't have had such a large party or such a big party or invited everyone, because now everyone has been exposed. After that, we get to see Kody's reaction to the news that the nanny and the nanny's husband have COVID. Kody says that the nanny has done everything right. He's like, I'm just blown away. The nanny is the one person that's been doing everything right. And even she, so by the book, doing everything correct, she got COVID. How did she get COVID? How was she exposed? And this whole time I've been saying, because you really don't know. Because you really don't know what the nanny's been doing or what the nanny's husband's been doing. For all we know, the nanny is not following any of these rules and just telling you guys that she is just to keep her job. Like, we don't know. But Kody and Robin, they want to believe that the nanny has abided by all these rules and she's been super strict. So now they're just dumbfounded on how she was exposed, right? So Kody's like, I really don't know what to think now. If someone being so careful can still get COVID, I just don't know what to think and what to do moving forward. Now, after that, we see Christine and Janelle in confessionals. And Christine, she's like, you know, this is going to sound a little evil, but I just think it's ironic. I just think it's really ironic that out of everyone in our family that was exposed to COVID, it was Robin's household. The one household that was supposedly doing everything right and had all these strict rules and kept these rules, supposedly, you know, it was her household that was exposed to COVID and now has potentially given the whole family COVID. Christine says that she's just so happy that it wasn't her family. She says, I know if it would have been me or one of my girls that had gotten COVID and exposed the rest of the family, that I would never live this one down, that it would be a lot of pointing the finger. You know, I was right. It's all your fault. So she says, at the end of the day, she's happy it wasn't her family. And, you know, it's kind of ironic that it was Robin's family. And Janelle says the same thing. Janelle says, you know, my family, we have been abiding by the CDC rules and guidelines, not necessarily Kody's. And we've gotten so much flack for not following Kody's. But here we are. She's like, my family's been fine. We don't have COVID. But now Robin and her family have exposed everyone to COVID because of the nanny. So next in the episode, we see Robin and Kody. They take their family to go get tested. It's really gross. They're doing these spit tests where they literally have to like spit in this little vial. At one point, Kody sucks up the straw. So gross. It's so gross. In the confessional, he's like laughing the whole time. And he's like, you know, a straw is made for sucking. So I was just preoccupied with the kids. And I just sucked up the straw. And I sucked up my own saliva. And it was just so gross. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's so nasty. But the reason why I want to point this out. He's just laughing the whole time while they're getting tested. Everyone seems to be in a pretty good mood, you know. They pull up and they're like, hey, we're here to get tested. We got 6 kids. At one point, they're like, it's taking us a little bit longer. We got children. But they seem to be in a good mood. Kody specifically, in the confessional, he's like laughing about it. And I just can't help but think, if he was taking Robin and their children to get tested because Christine exposed them, or Janelle exposed them, or Mary exposed them, if he would be this happy, if he would be laughing about it, or if he would be just so ticked off, sitting in that confessional mad as, you know, all get out, because now Robin and her kids have been exposed to COVID because of Janelle, because of Christine. I really could not help but wonder how he would be acting if it would have been one of the other wives. So I felt that it was really wild to see him just sitting there, just laughing and giggling, and it's not a big deal, and just making light of the situation, when it was Robin, he and Robin, essentially, that caused the whole family to get exposed. Anyways, later in the episode, Christine and Janelle both say that now they're scared that Kody and Robin will kind of retreat back again and not want the family to have get-togethers. And they all felt like they were finally getting, you know, back together, and maybe the family can start seeing each other more and they'll get back to kind of some sort of normalcy within their family. So now they're worried that this is going to just kind of stop that. It'll be a standstill now at this point. So Janelle says that she feels like this will cause Kody to retreat back to his over-the-top rules and not allowing the family to have get-togethers. Kody even says, you know, he don't know what to do. That if someone, the nanny, was being this cautious and following this many rules and they still got COVID, then what is he supposed to do moving forward? Well, my thing is, Kody, I believe the nanny was lying. I don't think the nanny was that careful. So I think that's probably why she contracted COVID. Just my opinion. Now, right before we get to the part where Christine is sitting on the bed and she kind of gives us a rundown of what took place, she's in a confessional where she talks once again about Ari's birthday party and like Christmas and everything and all the get-togethers that they have had. She basically says that she's had a good time spending time with the family, but it's been really awkward being around Kody. And she says that seeing Kody having other functioning relationships has been really hard for her, and she don't need to see that. So while she likes getting together with the family to see the other family members, she is struggling to see Kody getting along well with his other wives. And, you know, any side of intimacy, if he's holding Robin's hand or giving Robin a kiss, that's a struggle for Christine to see. So she don't want to see that. Then we get to the part of the episode where she sits down on the bed and she tells us that her and Kody had this discussion where she brought up intimacy. Apparently it started from, he put in a door in her house that led up to a room to where she does her work or something. I don't know. And she asked him basically like, is the door just about the cats getting into my inventory, or does it have something to do with our intimacy? And he's like, well, I have no desire to be intimate with you anymore. I don't like your behavior, and I need to see if you're going to be a good sister wife. That's what he told her when she asked about being intimate. That no, he has no desire to be intimate with her. And it's because he doesn't like the way that she's been behaving, and that he needs to see if she can be a good sister wife, which I feel like she's been a good sister wife. Just because maybe she's not being a good wife, that doesn't mean she's not being a good sister wife, right? I don't know. Either way, she tells Kody that not having an intimate relationship or an intimate marriage is not enough for her. And Kody tells her that he knows couples that, you know, they are in marriages, but they have no intimacy. That they're just married couples that I guess act like friends. I don't know. She tells Kody that that's not enough for her. She's not in it for a half marriage or a partial marriage. That if that's the way that it's going to be, she doesn't want it at all. That she needs intimacy in her life. They spoke for a little bit longer and then she went to bed alone. But then she tells the camera that it's not fair that Kody can continue having an intimate relationship and an intimate marriage with Robin and Janelle, but not with her. And she says, what am I supposed to do? Remain celibate? You know, she says, it's just not fair. I can't stick around to see him have those type of relationships with his other wives, but not me. She asks, what am I supposed to do? Stay in a marriage with no intimacy? And for what? All because of my behavior? She then says that her heart is shattered, that she's heartbroken over this. Now, she talks about something that I wasn't aware of until the other day, but she says that she wasn't completely shocked because they've had issues for a while, and that a while back, Kody actually told her that he was not attracted to her anymore, but that she was just hoping that in time things would get better. That blew me away. I think at any point where a husband tells his wife that he's not attracted to her, something's got to happen, like decisions have to be made. Because I feel like most of the time, if a husband tells a wife he's not attracted to her, things have gotten really bad. Really bad. And at that point, it's almost done. Because I think most husbands would even keep that to themselves for a while, just hoping that something would change, just hoping that maybe they're in a funk that they'll get out of, and maybe, you know, in time they will find their spouse attractive again, that maybe it's something they're going through, so they'll kind of hold on to that to see if something will change. So the fact that he actually told Christine that makes me feel like he was already done anyways. So after that clip, we actually got to see Kody, where he says that he had came over to visit with the kids. He was outside visiting the kids, and then Christine asked if they could have a discussion. So he came in the house to have a discussion with her, and she tells him that she is no longer wanting him to sleep in her bed. That if he comes over to visit the kids, that is okay, but he is not welcomed in her bedroom or on her bed. And she says that her room is a special place to her, and that nothing special happens between her and Kody anymore, so he is not allowed in the bedroom or on the bed. Kody says that he's not completely shocked at this because he and Christine have had issues in the past, and he has heard in the past that Christine has told the other wives that she wants to leave him. So he's not completely shocked. He says he doesn't know if this is a phase that Christine is going through, or if this is an awakening where she's finally, you know, come to this realization that she just doesn't want to be with him at all. It's at that point where he says that he has felt betrayed by Christine. And the reason he has felt betrayed by her is because she has told the other wives and the adult children that she don't want to be with Kody and that she wants to leave Kody. And that has caused him to feel betrayed by her. Now we go over to Utah, where Christine is back in Utah celebrating Mykelti's baby shower. She has it outside. She follows all the CDC guidelines. Just in case any of the other family members want to attend the baby shower, but they do not. It's just Christine and her kids. Also, we find out that Robin's household, they do not have COVID. After she goes to the baby shower, she's in a confessional and she says that she doesn't know what her future looks like, but she knows that she does not want to stay in Flagstaff. Now, obviously, Christine has made it known that she wants to move back to Utah. She goes back to Utah for Mykelti's baby shower. I think when she was there at the baby shower, she really come to the realization that, like, okay, me and Kody's marriage is over. And I could come back here. I could really come back here. I could live here. So when she's in the confessional, she says, she's like, I do not want to go back to Flagstaff. And now we know that ultimately she did move back to Utah. In one video, I think I called it Ohio. I always get those confused. So anyways, she once again talks about her decision to tell Kody not to sleep in her bed. And she said that Kody seemed shocked when she told him and that he asked her if they could talk about that. You know, not to make the decision just off the cuff, if maybe they could have a discussion and figure things out. But she said no, it was not something they were going to talk about, that she had made her decision and that's what it was, that she does not want him in her bedroom or in her bed. She also talks about her decision to pack his things up, and she says that she made the decision for two reasons. So one reason is so when he comes over, he can visit with the girls and he don't have to be worried about packing his things up. But another reason that she decided to pack his things up is because she said it's kind of heartbreaking. Sitting around her house and looking around and seeing his things and knowing that he's no longer in love with her and that he no longer wants to be intimate with her. So she said it was really difficult to sit around and see all his belongings. So she just felt like she needed to get them out of her house. So she packed up all his stuff, put it in boxes, and put it out in the garage. Kody later comes over and he sees all his stuff in the garage. He films himself and we get to see the clip. Basically, he says, I've been moved out of my house. This is not something that me and Christine discussed. And then he says that it's frustrating to just show up and see that she has just made this decision herself to move him out. He says that he don't want to take anything just yet because he isn't sure how serious she really is. He says he needs to talk to her about their future and how she feels and how serious she is before he decides how he feels about this. He then says it appears to possibly be a game that she's playing, but maybe not. He isn't sure. And then he says he almost doesn't even care. But I'm like, yeah, you probably don't. A while back, you told her you're not attracted to her. You don't want to be intimate with her. I imagine you really don't care, right? Now we get to see Janelle. Janelle is in her car waiting for her daughter Savannah so they can go get tested for COVID because Garrison and Gabriel have COVID. So somehow Garrison and Gabriel, they contracted COVID. Maybe because they continue to socialize, I'm not really sure, but they got COVID. So Janelle and Savannah, they're going to go get tested. Janelle says she does not believe her and Savannah have COVID, but they have been taking, vitamins and everything to kind of keep their systems boosted in case they do get COVID, but she really does not believe that they do. However, Garrison and Gabriel, they do. Christine, we are back with Christine. She's in a confessional and she says, now that Kody isn't staying here, I feel like I can take a breath, get myself grounded. I feel like I can rest for a bit, settle a little bit independently. So that's a big thing for her. Now that she's kicked Kody out, she feels like she's independent, that she can, it's like a weight lifted off of her. She can rest and she can feel like she's on her own now. I feel like it probably gave her a sense of power to be like, this is my house, and I made this decision and I'm good with it. She later says that she does not know what tomorrow is going to bring. She doesn't know what next week looks like, and that there are a lot of uncertainties, which when you get a divorce, of course, there are going to be so many uncertainties. It's new territory and it's scary. Christine explains kind of their religion and their church and how you go about getting a divorce when you're not technically married. I've had a lot of people ask me the question, like, How are they getting a divorce? They're not even married. And I've kind of had the same question, like, I don't know. I don't really know how you go about it. But Christine says in their religion and in their church, you can leave the marriage, but the church has to release you from it. There's nothing legally you have to do because you're not legally married. It's just within the church. It's just spiritually. So the church releases you from the spiritual marriage. Now, we get to see Kody a little bit more before the end of the show. And he is basically saying that he is more scared of the karma he may get for ending this marriage due to his beliefs, his religion, and his belief system is anti-divorce. So he is kind of scared of the karma that he may get down the road for not putting in more effort into allowing this marriage, this spiritual marriage, to dissolve because his religion is anti-divorce. He also says that his first thought when he found out that Christine, packed all his things up, his first thought was, this is my house, this is my stuff, we never discussed this. And his second thought was relief, some kind of relief from the burden of a loveless marriage. Can you imagine if Christine is watching this? I mean, I'm sure it still has to be painful. While she's sitting there pouring her heart out, saying it's heartbreaking for her to make this decision, that it's heartbreaking to see his things in her house, that it's heartbreaking to see him still have a marriage, a functioning marriage with intimacy, and now to hear him say, like, oh, it's relief. I'm relieved. I don't have to pretend to like this woman anymore. That's just so sad. So I hope that she's at least at the point to where things like this is not hurting her. But I would have to say it probably is. 25 years to put into a marriage is a long time for you to hear your ex-spiritual husband kind of bash you to the world on TV and tell everyone on TV, like, oh, thank God, it's a relief. It was such a burden to be in this loveless marriage. He could have at least respected her a little bit more, in my opinion, to not make it out like he just despised her almost. I thought that was very disrespectful. And maybe it's because he's angry. Maybe there's anger there. Maybe it's embarrassment. I don't know. And maybe that's why he decided to take the route to speak so negatively about her and about the marriage. But I thought it was very distasteful. I thought, if anything else, it's probably hurting her feelings, but making her feel like she absolutely made the right decision. So that's the end of the episode, you guys. And next week, I think they said next week we have like the tell-all. It said Sister Wives 1-on-1. So they have a host. She's going to talk to each one individually. And like I said, she seems to tick Kody off right off the bat because she tells him that he emotionally abandoned. I don't know if she's saying just Christine or if she's saying he emotionally abandoned multiple wives. But, she says, you emotionally abandoned them. And then he's like, I'm mad about that. I don't like the way you said that. And I'm offended that you said that. So there's some issues there. It seems like she's kind of calling him out for what it is. He's emotionally abandoned most of these women, There's a clip where Robin, obviously, she's crying and she's saying, how can you end a marriage if you never even really tried? Probably talking about Christine. And then Christine tells the host that she and Kody, they are divorced. So that's the episode, you guys. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, bombs were dropped. Several things that I was not aware of. Her saying that she made the decision at their last anniversary that she would not celebrate another anniversary with Kody if this was to continue in their relationship. And then Kody saying that he felt betrayed because Christine had told other wives and adult children that she wanted to leave Kody. So you guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you guys think about the season? What did you guys think about the episode? Let me know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Give this video a huge thumbs up. I will be watching the tell-all and I'll do a recap of that as well, along with my thoughts. So let me know your thoughts. Make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.